the Bhopal gas leak who were railway men. Hello, share it with your friends and family members so that they too can get knowledge about it. Friends, on the 3rd of December 1984, around midnight at Gopal's train station, Gopal Junction, Station Superintendent H.S. Burve and Deputy Station Superintendent Gulam Dastgir were doing their night duty. At around 1 o'clock in the night, a train from Gorakhpur Bombay Express arrives at this station, and Dastgir leaves his cabin. Suddenly, his eyes start burning and he gets a rash on his neck. He looks for his senior, Burve, to tell him this, but he is nowhere to be seen. A few minutes later, he sees Burve lying on the ground. Dastgir tries to check his breathing, but he finds out that he is no longer alive. Dastgir immediately understands what is happening here. Actually, there is a Union Carbide factory about a kilometer away from this Bhopal Junction station, where a very dangerous incident took place. Gas is leaking from Union Carbide. 50,000 pounds of poisonous gases are leaking from this factory. MIC, hydrogen cyanide, phosgene, a lot of poisonous gases are coming out of this factory and are quickly spreading all over the city. The most senior person at the station is now Dastgir. He decides that the train from Gorakhpur Bombay Express will have to leave before its scheduled departure time. According to the plan, this train had to stand at this station for another 20 minutes. All the passengers of the train had closed their windows, and Dastgir did not want any harm to come to the people sitting in the train. For this, he breaks his protocol. He tells the station staff to clear the train for departure, and he takes full responsibility for breaking this protocol on his own. Meanwhile, it can be seen that the crowd of people is increasing at the station. When this incident happened, most of the people were sleeping in their homes at night. When people started having trouble breathing, some people who had their cars sat in the cars and started moving away from the city. On the other hand, those who did not have their cars, many of them came to the station and started gathering. They did not know what to do. The crowd was slowly increasing at Bhopal Junction. People were laughing, crying, and vomiting all around. Dastgir was running from one platform to another. He was trying to help people as much as he could. He gives an SOS call to the nearby stations, because of which 4 ambulances, paramedics, and railway doctors also joined to help people. Despite all this, it was very difficult to escape from this poisonous gas. On one hand, some people had come out of their homes and reached the railway station. On the other hand, more people were running towards the hospitals. Obviously, if you start burning your eyes and have trouble breathing while sleeping at night, then you will go to the hospital. But the problem was that neither the railway doctors nor the hospital doctors knew what was happening here. They had never seen such symptoms in people before. They did not know what disease people had, and what was the reason behind it. Bhopal's Hamidia Hospital was about 3 kilometers away from the Union Carbide factory. In those days, there used to be a capacity of about 1,200 beds in this hospital. At about 1:15 in the night, the first patient reaches this hospital who complains that he has irritation in his eyes. And just 5 minutes after this, more than 1,000 people flock to this hospital. Some doctors try to find out from the company of this Union Carbide factory what has happened. But they get wrong information from there. The company's medical officer, L.D. Loya, tells the doctors that this gas is not poisonous. Just put a wet bandage on the patient's eyes and everything will be fine. Meanwhile, the superintendent of police goes to the control room of Swarajpuri and sees that all his staff is coughing loudly and rubbing their eyes. It was 1:25 in the night. He calls the factory of this carbide. He gets an answer on 2 phone calls. Everything is okay, everything is fine. But when he calls for the 3rd time, he gets an answer. We don't know what has happened here, sir. We don't know what has happened. At 2:10 in the night, the number of patients in the hospital had reached around 4,000. There was a separate commotion at Bhopal Junction station. Dastgir had sent Gorakhpur Bombay Express from the station. but now it was getting difficult to help people. He later finds out that his senior, H.S. Burve, was killed while giving a signal to remove another train from Bhopal. His senior also told the train, "Don't stop at this platform. Keep moving ahead. Keep moving ahead." Gulam Dastgir, his wife and 4 children, used to live in the old city of Bhopal. But on the other hand, they didn't know how to treat this disease. Most of the doctors at that time gave eye drops to the patients, steroids for inflammation, and antibiotics to prevent secondary infection, and gave antacids for stomach problems. But the real treatment could only be done when it was found out what this gas actually is. Is it MIC? Is it phosgene? Or is it some other hydrogen cyanide gas? Doctors first thought that it was phosgene poisoning, because exactly 3 years before the incident, there was another incident like this, which was only 3 kilometers away from this Union Carbide factory. But Dastgir doesn't run away thinking about his family. He keeps standing at the station and helps people. The train that passes through the station is told, "Don't stop, keep moving ahead." Dastgir's colleague, Manzoor Ahmed Khan, was among those who reached the station to leave Bhopal. He comes to the station with his entire family at around 3 in the night. He sees that Dastgir is running from platform to platform. He is attending people without thinking about himself or his family. The aftermath and investigation. Friends, there is a new series on Netflix, The Railwaymen, which is inspired by these real-life stories, how our unknown, unsung heroes were doing their work that night, fighting this poisonous gas. This series is the first series of Yash Raj Entertainment on an OTT platform. After watching the trailer, you will understand how suspenseful and thrillingly the story of that night is depicted in this series. Doctors and paramedics present at the stations and hospitals were trying their best to save their lives. In the same Union Carbide factory, it was in December 1981. Ashraf Muhammad Khan, who worked in this factory, died due to a phosgene leak. On the other hand, the company was being told that this is MIC, it won't do anything. But if there is only irritation, then just apply wet patches on the eyes. By the way, the vaporization of MIC is at 38 degrees Celsius, which is a very high temperature. On the other hand, phosgene vaporizes at only 8 degrees Celsius. And in Bhopal, it was December, so the doctors assumed that this gas must be phosgene. No one knew that when this incident happened in the factory, the temperature was around 400 degrees Celsius. In America, the medical director of Carbide, Bipin Avashia, informed the authorities of Bhopal that if cyanide poisoning is suspected, then people should be given sodium thiosulfate as an antidote. In the previous experiments, it was seen that when MIC burns, it breaks down into hydrogen cyanide. And to counter hydrogen cyanide, sodium thiosulfate was a solution. But Bipin Avashia took back his statement during a press conference in Bhopal 10 days later. He said that there was no cyanide poisoning here, so this antidote is useless. A statement is issued by the company that MIC is not cyanide, it should not be confused. MIC naturally degrades in the environment by reacting with water. But this statement was delayed by the company. Until now, many patients were in the hospital waiting for their treatment. To help the suffering patients, on December 8th, German toxicologist Max Donner comes to Bhopal with 50,000 doses of sodium thiosulfate. When doctors used sodium thiosulfate, it was proven to be successful. Many patients were recovering with it, but a patient dies after giving it. And the news spreads that a German doctor killed him with sodium thiosulfate. Because of this doctor is sent back with his antidotes. Senior professors of Gandhi Medical College reject the use of sodium thiosulfate. Dr. M.N. Nagu, the director of Madhya Pradesh Health Services, in a circular on 13 December. Despite all this, some people were convinced that people had been poisoned with cyanide. First, because when sodium thiosulfate was being used on some patients, they were seeing a positive effect. Second, when Dr. Hirish Chandra, the director of Bhopal Medical Legal Institute, did autopsies on the bodies, he found signs of cyanide poisoning. He said that we should only use sodium thiosulfate. Weeks later in February, the ICMR also instructs doctors to use sodium thiosulfate. The biggest question here is, why did this confusion arise? Even from the company, the factory of the company, why did they also create so much confusion about MIC and cyanide? The straight answer to this is that the company was in the midst of a huge compensation claim. To save money, they wanted to reduce the side effects of MIC, and the government authorities were also trapped in this confusion, due to which many more people lost their lives who could have been saved if they were given treatment at the right time. The story of Gulam Dastgir, which I told you in the beginning of this video, he saves his own life. But for the last 19 years of his life, he spends most of his time in the hospital. He passes away in 2003. The most shocking thing in the story of this entire Bhopal gas tragedy is that a lot of warnings were given about this incident by different people. Many people were saying that an accident can happen at any time in this factory. There is no care for safety here. But neither the company nor the government authorities took any action. In 1981, when Ashraf Khan died in a carbide accident, after that, in May 1982, 3 experts were sent from America to the carbide company. Their job was to check the safety measures of this plant. They recorded more than 60 hazards in their report. It was written in this report that the emergency evacuation procedures were never shared with the people living near the factory. It was written that the MIC tanks could be easily contaminated. The tank pressure gauge was said to be defective. And 3 articles were also written about the many issues and warnings recorded in this report. Save, sir, save this city. Bhopal is sitting on the brink of a volcano. And if you don't understand, you will eventually die. These 3 articles were written by a journalist working in the local newspaper Rajpath, Rajkumar Keswani, within 2 weeks. This national newspaper was published in Jansada, and it was written that a disaster can be seen in Bhopal at any time. This should tell you the importance of free and independent media in the country. The truth is that Keswani did not do anything extraordinary. He just did his daily work with great honesty, and that's why today he can be called an unsung hero. In his last article, he makes another big revelation. In 1975, Bhopal Municipal Corporation was run by a highly respected bureaucrat who had issued a notice to remove carbide from Bhopal. In response, they were transferred. And carbide pays 25,000 rupees to the corporation to build a park. This meant that some people in the government were helping with the carbide so that they can successfully keep their factory open. Similar revelations have been shown in the Railwayman series.